Good morning, coaches. I just wanted to have a little presentation today, kind of talking about mostly about conflict resolution within the coaching staff. Kind of want to go over some experiences that I've had on other coaching staffs, and how what I've learned from those experiences, and what I've taken from those experiences and use them to put into our coaching staff about conflict resolution between us, and how we can kind of maneuver that experience if that ever comes up here. So I've given you guys all papers, so go ahead and look through them. One of the first things we're going to talk about is kind of experience that I had when I was first coaching. Let me grab my papers. Sorry. When I was first coaching, there was an experience that we had. We were playing in a pretty big game. I was coaching high school football, and it was a rivalry game. And we all know, we've all played football, we've all coached football for a while. We know that rivalry games can get kind of heated, especially amongst the staff. We all want to do well. We all want our players to do well. And, one word can lead to another, and then there's a conflict between us. So what happened with us is we were down we were probably down by 20 points at this game. It didn't go very well at the beginning. We had a lot of stresses amongst the staff. We were supposed to win. We were supposed to win big, and we weren't winning. So at halftime, two of the coaches kind of, like a lot of times happens, two of the coaches went at it a little bit. One coach said one thing, another coach said another thing. And before we knew it, we were all sitting in the coach's office at halftime, and while they were talking, jabbing back at each other, before we even knew it, they decided to go at each other. Just from across the room, went at it, fists flying. We didn't even know what to do at first. We were the other coaching staff. The rest of the coaching staff didn't know exactly what to do at the time, so we kind of just jumped in, pulled them apart, and it took a lot to get them out of that room. They wanted to get at each other. So what we did is we separated them in different rooms, and it was an experience that I'll never forget because it's something that I wasn't prepared for. The head coach hadn't prepared us for. There was nothing put into place that what we should do in that situation. So it was difficult for me. So all we did was we separated them. That was the one thing we could think of doing. And once we did, it kind of calmed down the situation. We ended up going on to winning the football game, but that conflict really caused a lot of problems amongst the staff, and it didn't go very well the rest of the season for us. So the one thing I believe that caused that problem was, we have to understand that there's going to be a lot of stresses in this profession. Coaching, you're always expected to win. You're always expected to do well, and even if you don't believe, even if you don't have the players you think you need, the other administration and fans still think you got to win. So you got to take on that stress. It's a thankless job. A lot of times, if you're doing well, it's because of the players, and if you're not doing well, it's because of the coaching staff. So you have to understand that as well. Many times, job security is not high among the coaching staff, amongst coaching staffs around the country. If you're not winning, they don't care why. They don't care if you don't have the players. They don't care if you don't have the budget or whatever it is. You just need to win. And you need to win now. And from year to year, we've all had friends. We've all had other coaches that we coached with get fired on the spot, go from this job to that job to this job to that job, and it's a high turnover rate. If this stress isn't properly taken care of, if it's not properly pushed to something else, it can cause a problem not only with the coach but with the staff and down to the players. So coaches need to have opportunities to blow off some steam and to help relieve that stress a little bit. Also, there's family issues a coach can have that we don't even know about. You know, maybe the family at home isn't too happy that their dad or husband or boyfriend is a coach. So, you know, there's also some family stresses that they could have as well. Um, One reason, like I said, family reasons is a big thing among coaches. I mean, you guys know you have wives and girlfriends that, you know, you spend a lot of time in the coach's office, you spend a lot of time with your players, and you don't get a lot of time at home with your family and your friends and stuff like that. So by you being at the office all the time, they kind of get upset about that, and rightfully so a little bit. Sometimes we spend too much time here. You know, it happens. But that's a big reason for this fight too. I also believe that I was involved in, because those coaches were spending so much time in the office, so much time game planning, so much time watching film, that their families were always on them about being home more, you know, not being at the office so much. But if they're not at the office, they don't feel like they're getting ready to win, and if they don't win, then they're going to lose their job, and then they can't provide for their family. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation. So family is definitely a big reason for that. Another reason for this fight, I believe, was a lack of communication. There wasn't a great communication between the two coaches of what was going on between the game. One coach thought we should be doing this, the other coach thought we should be doing that, and they never got together and communicated with each other, with the whole entire staff. So we were never really on the same page. And when you're not on the same page with the rest of the coaching staff, we're not on page with the other coaches. You know, there's a lack of communication, and fights are going to come from that all the time. It's always going to happen if you don't have great communication, because you're not going to understand the other coach. So one of the things I believe a solution for this problem is having some sort of conflict resolution coach on the staff. Someone who is outside of the coaching staff, who's not a football coach, who can come in and see the temperature of the coaching staff and how they deal with each other and how they deal with the players, and he can kind of teach them and coach them to be to coach them for conflict resolution, how to deal with each other when they have conflict, how to deal with the players, and can kind of be there for them and can kind of help them along the way. Another solution that I feel could really help is more meetings amongst the coaches. You know, you got to have your offensive, defensive meetings so that you got the offensive staff and the defensive staff are always on the same page, but also coming together as an entire coaching staff and understanding, hey, you know, this is what we're going to do on the offense, this is what we're going to do on the defense. That way both sides are fully on board with each other and know what they're doing. Also, you got to have the head coach have meetings with each one of the coaches so that, you know, the head coach's philosophy and understanding will always be the number one thing amongst that staff. So he needs to meet with all of his coaches, so that philosophy and his mentality is pushed on to the rest of the coaches as well. That way the whole coaching staff has the same mentality when it comes to conflict. I also believe a great opportunity for the coaching staff is to have a family dinner night where the whole coaching staff, along with their family members, can come together and enjoy a meal together, and, you know, have an opportunity for the coaching staff to kind of hang out with each other and their families and get to know each other more on a personal level, not talk about football, not talk about the players that they got, just talk about family stuff, kind of introduce the wives to each other so that they can be kind of like a support group, you know, when during the season when their husbands have a lot to do. Their husbands aren't always there for them because they're out there coaching football and stuff like that. So the families can kind of get together, and the families can kind of be there for each other in those hard situations. I think it'd be good for kind of the wives who have been coaches for a long time to kind of spend time with the wives who are just their husbands are just getting to the coaching profession, or they're just got married and they've never been a part of a coaching staff before. That way they can kind of mentor them and tutor them into what they can expect, what kind of struggles they might have, and some of the solutions that the more veteran wives have had. and kind of teach that to the younger wives and also coaches as well. The older husbands who have been coaches for a long time can kind of teach the younger coaches how to deal with family issues and those types of things. And I think if a coaching staff did all that, had the conflict resolution coach, offered more communication amongst each other, and had more opportunities for coaching families to kind of come together, I believe that they did those sort of things, that there'd be less conflict amongst the coaches. And not only would there be less conflicts amongst the coaches, but because there'd be less conflict, the communication would be higher, and not only the communication be higher, but they're going to win more. They're going to the players are going to see that the coaching staff is connected and working together, and they're going to kind of mirror that on the field. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you. I appreciate you paying attention to everything, and I thank you for this opportunity. Have a good day.